My friends, life has a strange way of teaching us lessons, sometimes through pain, sometimes through peace, and often through people. But what if I told you that just 5 simple words could completely transform the way you live, think, and experience the world? These 5 words have the power to change confusion into clarity, stress into strength, and chaos into calm. Let's explore them together. The first word is gratitude. In a world that constantly tells us what we don't have, gratitude reminds us of everything we do. When we focus on what's missing, we feel poor. But when we focus on what's present, we feel rich. Each morning, before you touch your phone or check your messages, take a moment to whisper, "Thank you." Gratitude is not about having everything. It's about seeing everything as a gift. The second word is patience. We live in a world that celebrates speed, fast food, fast internet, fast success. But the best things in life still take time. Trees don't grow overnight. Relationships don't deepen instantly. And success doesn't come without seasons of struggle. Patience is not about waiting. It's about how we wait. It's learning to smile even when the answers haven't come yet. The third word is forgiveness. We carry grudges like invisible weights on our hearts. Forgiveness isn't about approving what happened. It's about freeing ourselves from the pain of it. When you forgive, you don't erase the past. You rewrite how it affects your future. Holding anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to suffer. Let go, and you'll rise higher. The fourth word is faith. Not necessarily religious faith, but the quiet trust that things will fall into place, even when you don't understand the plan. Sometimes life shuts one door, not to punish you, but to guide you toward the right one. Faith doesn't mean you won't face storms. It means you believe there's light beyond them. And the fifth word is love. Love is not just about romance or relationships. It's a way of living. In how we speak, give, listen, and care. The world doesn't need more wealth, it needs more warmth. When you approach every person and situation with love, you elevate not only their spirit, but your own. So, remember these 5 words: gratitude, patience, forgiveness, faith, and love. They're not just words. They're keys to unlock peace in your heart, purpose in your path, and power in your presence. Gratitude is one of the most powerful forces that can transform a person's entire outlook on life. It changes the lens through which we view the world. When we live with gratitude, we stop focusing on what's missing and start appreciating what's already there. It's not about ignoring our struggles or pretending everything is perfect. It's about shifting our focus from scarcity to abundance every single day. Life gives us countless gifts: air to breathe, food to eat, people who care about us, lessons that strengthen us. But we often overlook them because we are busy chasing what we don't yet have. Gratitude brings us back to the present moment and teaches us to value it deeply. When a person learns to practice gratitude consistently, something magical happens within. The mind becomes calmer, the heart becomes lighter, and even challenges begin to appear as opportunities. It doesn't mean problems vanish, but gratitude changes how we respond to them. For instance, when life gets hard, instead of saying, "Why is this happening to me?" gratitude helps us say, "What can I learn from this?" That one change in thought can turn pain into progress. It reminds us that every setback is a setup for growth, and every delay has a divine purpose. Gratitude transforms suffering into strength because it allows us to see meaning behind the moments that once hurt us. In the think about how our mood changes when we start counting our blessings. A simple act of acknowledging what we have can instantly shift our energy. Gratitude breaks this cycle of comparison that often steals our peace. When we constantly compare our journey with someone else's, we feel inadequate or left behind. But when we focus on our blessings, we realize that each person's path is unique and that we already have so much to be thankful for. The smile of a loved one, a meal on the table, a safe place to rest, these small things are often the biggest sources of happiness when seen with grateful eyes. Practicing gratitude doesn't require grand gestures. It begins with awareness. A few moments of reflection each morning or night can make a significant difference. Simply writing down 3 things you're thankful for or saying a quiet thank you before bed rewires the brain to seek positivity. Science even supports this. People who practice gratitude regularly experience better sleep, stronger relationships, improved mental health, and higher levels of satisfaction. Gratitude nurtures optimism. It teaches the heart to trust that no matter how dark the night, a new dawn will come. Gratitude also has a beautiful ripple effect. When we express thankfulness to others, it inspires them to do the same. A heartfelt thank you can uplift someone's day more than we realize. Gratitude strengthens connections because it shows appreciation, not expectation. It humbles us, reminding us that we are not self-made but supported by countless unseen acts of kindness and love. Whether it's the stranger who held the door open, the teacher who believed in us, or the friend who listened when we needed to talk, acknowledging these moments enriches our soul. Ultimately, gratitude is not just a feeling, it's a choice, a daily practice of focusing on what is right instead of what is wrong. It's a silent prayer that says, I have enough, I am enough, and I am thankful. When we live in gratitude, we begin to see beauty even in the ordinary. Life's smallest moments, sunlight through a window, laughter shared with a friend, or the comfort of a quiet evening, become extraordinary blessings. Gratitude doesn't just change our mood, it changes our entire state of being. It turns our attention from what we lack to the endless abundance that surrounds us, reminding us that happiness is not found in having more, but in appreciating what we already have. Patience is one of the greatest virtues a person can develop, yet it is also one of the hardest to practice in today's fast-paced world. We live in a time where everything is designed for speed, instant communication, quick results, fast deliveries, and rapid rewards. Society teaches us to chase outcomes, not experiences. But true growth, real success, and lasting happiness are born not in haste, but in patience. Patience is not about sitting idly and waiting. It is about trusting the process, believing that every step we take, no matter how small or slow, is leading us toward where we are meant to be. It is about enduring with grace, not with frustration. When we learn to be patient, we begin to understand that time itself is a teacher. Every delay, every unanswered prayer, every closed door carries a lesson. Sometimes, life slows us down not to punish us, but to prepare us. There are moments when things don't go our way, when we feel like we are stuck or falling behind. In those times, patience whispers, "You're still on the right path, just not at the pace you expected. A flower does not bloom the moment it is planted. It takes nurturing, sunlight, rain, and time. Likewise, our dreams, relationships, and personal growth need their own seasons to flourish. Patience helps us trust those seasons rather than forcing them. Often, impatience comes from fear of missing out, fear of failure, fear that time is running out. But patience teaches us that everything happens in divine timing. It helps us replace anxiety with acceptance. When we are patient, we begin to notice the beauty in the waiting. We start appreciating the journey instead of obsessing over the destination. Think about it. A caterpillar does not rush its transformation into a butterfly. The cocoon period, which seems like stillness, is actually the most powerful phase of change. Similarly, our waiting periods are not wasted. They are where our inner strength and wisdom are born. Patience also refines our character. It builds resilience, humility, and empathy. It helps us control our reactions when life tests us. For instance, when people disappoint us, when plans fall apart, or when success seems far away, patience allows us to respond calmly instead of reacting impulsively. It teaches us to breathe, to pause, and to trust that everything will make sense in time. Many of life's regrets come from decisions made in haste. Patience guards us from those mistakes by giving us clarity. It says, wait until your emotions settle, and then choose your response. This simple practice can save relationships, careers, and peace of mind. Another beautiful aspect of patience is that it aligns us with nature's rhythm. Look at how everything in creation moves with perfect timing: the sunrise, the tides, the changing seasons. Nothing is rushed, yet everything is accomplished. When we learn to live with that same rhythm, we stop fighting against time and start flowing with it. We realize that waiting is not wasted when it's filled with faith, effort, and trust. Ultimately, the patience strengthens our relationship with ourselves and with life itself. It teaches us that good things don't need to be hurried, they only need to be nurtured. A patient heart is a peaceful heart, one that knows everything unfolds exactly as it should. When we master patience, we master peace, because in patience, we discover that the timing of life is not always in our control, but its outcome is always in our favor. Forgiveness is one of the most liberating acts a human being can perform. Yet it is also one of the most difficult. When we are hurt, betrayed, or wronged, our hearts naturally hold on to the pain. We replay the memories, relive the emotions and sometimes even wish the other person could feel the same suffering we went through. But forgiveness is not about letting someone escape the consequences of their actions. It's about setting ourselves free from the emotional chains that keep us bound to that pain. When we hold on to anger or resentment, it's as if we are drinking poison and expecting the other person to fall sick. Forgiveness, on the other hand, cleanses the heart. It gives us the strength to move forward without carrying the heavy burden of the past. True forgiveness begins with understanding that people often act out of their own pain, confusion, or ignorance. This doesn't justify their actions, but it helps us view them through a lens of compassion rather than hatred. Everyone is fighting their own unseen battles, and sometimes their way of coping spills over and hurts others. When we forgive, we don't deny what happened. We simply decide that we will no longer allow it to control us. The moment we forgive, we reclaim our peace and take back our power. The forgiveness doesn't change the past, but it changes how the past affects our present. Holding grudges may seem like a way to protect ourselves, but in truth, it keeps us emotionally stuck. The mind becomes trapped in a loop of blame and bitterness. Over time, that emotional weight can harden into anger, cynicism, or even self-pity. But when we forgive, it's as if we open the windows of a dark room and let light and air in. The heart begins to heal, and we rediscover our capacity to love, trust, and grow. Forgiveness doesn't mean we forget or allow someone to hurt us again. It simply means we refuse to let that pain define us. We stop giving our past the power to dictate our future. There is immense courage in forgiving. It takes more strength to release resentment than to hold on to it. Some wounds run deep. Betrayal by a loved one, broken trust, harsh words, or injustice. But clinging to those wounds only extends the suffering. When we forgive, we are not doing it for them, we are doing it for ourselves. It's an act of self, love, and healing. The peace that comes from forgiveness is unmatched because it brings clarity and emotional freedom. Our hearts become lighter, our minds calmer, and our spirit more open to joy. Forgiveness also opens the door to personal growth. It teaches humility, empathy, and maturity. When we forgive, we realize that life isn't about avoiding pain, but learning to rise above it. We see that mistakes, ours and others, are part of the human experience. We stop expecting perfection from people and start accepting them as they are. This shift allows us to cultivate deeper, more authentic relationships. It also helps us forgive ourselves, which is often the hardest part. Many people carry guilt for past decisions, words, or actions. Self-forgiveness is necessary to heal and move forward. The same compassion we extend to others must also be offered inward. For only then can we live fully and freely. Forgiveness is not a single act, it's a process. Sometimes it takes days, months, or even years to truly let go. But each step toward forgiveness is a step toward freedom. It's choosing peace over pain, understanding over anger, and healing over hatred. When we forgive, we release the weight of yesterday and make room for the light of today. In that space, our hearts find strength, serenity, and the courage to love again. Faith is the invisible thread that holds our lives together when everything around us seems to be falling apart. It is not about seeing the path clearly, but about trusting that there is a path. Even when the road ahead is covered in fog, faith doesn't always make sense to the logical mind because it asks us to believe before we can see, to walk before we know where the steps will lead. Yet it is faith that gives meaning to uncertainty and strength to endure the unknown. Life often places us in situations where our plans fail, where people disappoint us, and where answers are nowhere to be found. In those moments, faith becomes the quiet whisper that says, "Keep going, something good is on its way." Or faith teaches us that everything happens for a reason, even if we can't see that reason immediately. Sometimes, life closes doors not to reject us, but to redirect us. What looks like an ending may actually be the beginning of something far greater. Think about how seeds must first be buried in darkness before they can bloom into life. Faith is that inner knowing that the darkness is temporary and that growth is happening beneath the surface, even when nothing seems to be changing. It reminds us that the waiting season is not wasted. It's a season of preparation, building patience, and shaping our inner strength for what's coming next. Having faith doesn't mean we won't experience fear, doubt, or pain. It means we choose to trust despite those emotions. Faith and fear often exist together, but one must always be stronger. The more we feed our faith, the weaker our fears become. When we trust that everything will work out as it should, we stop fighting against life and start flowing with it. This surrender doesn't mean giving up. It means letting go of the need to control every outcome. It's understanding that while we may not know how things will unfold, there is a higher order working behind the scenes to guide us where we need to be. Faith also helps us remain calm in the middle of chaos. It acts like an anchor in the storm. When the waves of life grow fierce and unpredictable, faith keeps us steady. It reminds us that the storm will not last forever, and when it passes, we will emerge stronger, wiser, and more grounded than before. Without faith, even small challenges can feel unbearable. But with faith, even great obstacles can become opportunities for transformation. It turns confusion into clarity, despair into determination, and hopelessness into courage. Faith gives the heart resilience when logic has no answers. Moreover, faith connects us with a sense of divine timing. It helps us understand that everything unfolds exactly when it is meant to. Often, we want things to happen immediately, but faith teaches us to trust the waiting. It whispers that what is meant for us will not pass us by. When we look back at life, we realize that many delays, disappointments, or detours were actually blessings in disguise. Faith helps us live with that awareness in the present moment, even before the blessings appear. At its core, faith is not just belief in something greater, it's a relationship of trust with life itself. It allows us to wake up each morning with hope, even when circumstances look bleak. It's the quiet courage to take another step when we don't know what's ahead. Faith doesn't promise a life without problems, but it promises peace in the middle of them. It reminds us that no matter how uncertain life feels, there is always a greater plan unfolding, one that is guiding us exactly where we're meant to go. Love is the deepest and most transformative force in the universe. It is not confined to romantic relationships or affectionate words. It is the energy that flows through every act of kindness, every gesture of compassion, and every sincere connection we share with another human being. Love is the essence of who we are. When we operate from love, we rise above fear, ego, and selfishness. It is the light that dissolves hatred, the warmth that heals wounds, and the power that unites hearts. Love does not demand perfection, it celebrates authenticity. It sees the soul, not the flaws. In a world often filled with noise, division, and haste, love invites us to slow down, to see people not for what they can offer us, but for who they truly are. Love is the foundation of all meaningful relationships between friends, family, communities, and even strangers. When we love, we listen with empathy, speak with honesty, and act with care. It's not always about grand gestures. Often, it's the small, unnoticed acts that carry the greatest weight. A comforting word, a patient ear, a genuine smile. These little moments of love ripple outward, touching lives in ways we may never fully understand. Love softens hardened hearts and opens doors that pride and anger keep closed. It reminds us that we are all connected, all part of one human story, and that kindness is a language every soul understands. Living with love means choosing compassion over criticism. It means understanding that everyone is fighting unseen battles. When we look at others through the lens of love, we stop judging and start understanding. Instead of reacting to people's behavior, we begin to see the pain or fear behind their actions. Love allows us to respond gently, even when it's not easy. It doesn't make us weak, it makes us wise. Only love has the power to transform hostility into harmony and resentment into reconciliation. Where there is love, there is healing. It bridges distances, repairs brokenness, and reminds us that forgiveness is not a loss of pride, but a gain of peace. But love is not always comfortable. It demands vulnerability, courage, and patience. To truly love is to open ourselves, to feel deeply, to give without expecting, and to care even when we risk being hurt. Love asks us to show up fully, even when others can't or won't. Sometimes the hardest form of love is the one we give ourselves. Many people go through life seeking validation from others, forgetting that self-love is the root of all love. When we honor ourselves, when we treat our own hearts with kindness and respect, we create the inner balance that allows us to love others freely. Self-love is not selfish. It's essential. You cannot pour from an empty cup. Love also means serving without seeking reward. It's the silent strength that lifts others when they fall, that gives when no one is watching, and that continues to shine even in the face of rejection. The beauty of love is that it never goes to waste. Even if it's not returned, it transforms the one who gives it. Every act of love leaves a mark on the heart. It expands it, deepens it, and fills it with peace. Love teaches us that we don't lose by giving, we grow. Ultimately, love is a way of being, not just a feeling. It's in how we see the world, how we treat others, and how we live each day. When love becomes our guiding principle, life becomes softer, brighter, and infinitely more meaningful. We begin to see that love is not something we find, it's something we become. It is the purest expression of the human spirit, and when we let it guide our words, actions, and thoughts, we not only change our own lives, but also the world around us. Small words, big impact. This simple idea carries a powerful truth about life. Sometimes we believe that transformation requires grand gestures or monumental efforts. We wait for the perfect moment, the big opportunity, or the right circumstances to make a difference. But real change often begins in the smallest of moments and with the simplest of words. A kind word, a thoughtful gesture, a gentle smile, these things may seem insignificant in the moment, yet they can leave a lasting impression on someone's heart. Life is shaped not only by major decisions, but by the consistent, quiet choices we make every day. The smallest words of encouragement, the briefest moments of compassion, and the simplest acts of understanding can carry unimaginable weight. It is often said that words are seeds. Once spoken, they grow either into flowers or into thorns. A single phrase can lift someone out of despair or push them deeper into hopelessness. We may forget what we said, but someone else may remember it for a lifetime. That is why being mindful of our words matters so deeply. Saying things like, "I believe in you," "I am proud of you," or even a sincere "thank you" can change the course of someone's day, or sometimes even their life. Small words of kindness can heal wounds we cannot see. The impact of positivity spreads far beyond what we can imagine, like ripples on a calm lake. In the same way, small words we say to ourselves can also transform our inner world. The way we speak internally shapes our thoughts, emotions, and confidence. When we replace self-criticism with self-compassion, our entire energy shifts. Simple affirmations like, "I am enough," "I am capable," or "I can handle this," may sound ordinary, but they have immense power to reprogram the mind towards strength and resilience. Every time we speak words of love to ourselves, we build an inner foundation of peace. In the words create worlds, not just around us, but within us. The truth is, Most of life's great transformations begin subtly. A single sentence can ignite courage, a small compliment can build confidence, and a few words of faith can inspire hope. Think of moments when someone's simple encouragement gave you strength when you needed it most. Those moments are proof that the right words, though small, have enormous potential. We often underestimate their value because we can't measure them immediately. But what if the few kind words you speak today become the reason someone decides not to give up tomorrow? Small words also carry power in relationships. When we choose to say, "I understand," "I forgive you," or "I'm here for you," we build bridges instead of walls. Love doesn't always need long speeches. It often needs gentle reassurance. Even silence, when filled with understanding, can speak volumes. The language of care doesn't need complexity. It only needs sincerity. When our hearts are pure, even the simplest words can reach the deepest places. Moreover, the words we use shape the atmosphere we live in. Positive words create warmth, unity, and peace, while harsh words create distance and pain. The way we speak becomes the tone of our environment, our homes, friendships, and workplaces. So, if we want to live in peace, we must speak peace. If we want joy, we must speak joy. Small, thoughtful words spoken consistently can transform an entire life's direction. Ultimately, life isn't defined by a few grand events, but by countless small moments and choices. The words we choose in those moments determine whether we build or break, uplift or discourage, heal or hurt. Small words truly have a big impact because they carry the essence of our hearts. When spoken with love, truth, and compassion, they become instruments of change, shaping a world that reflects the kindness and light within us. Inner peace starts within. It cannot be bought, borrowed, or given by someone else. It is a state of being that grows quietly inside us when we learn to make peace with our thoughts, our past, and our circumstances. So often, people chase peace in external things: success, relationships, possessions, or recognition. Yet, no matter how much they achieve, they still feel restless. That's because true peace doesn't come from what's happening around us, but from what's happening within us. It begins when we stop fighting reality, stop resisting life's flow, and start accepting things as they are. When we align our inner world with calmness, clarity, and contentment, the noise of the outer world loses its power to disturb us. Finding inner peace is not about escaping life's challenges, but about facing them with a balanced mind. It's easy to stay calm when everything goes as planned, but peace is truly tested when life feels chaotic. The storms of disappointment, uncertainty, and loss come to everyone. The difference lies in how we respond. Inner peace doesn't mean we never feel pain. It means we don't let pain control us. It's the gentle strength that whispers, "This too shall pass." Instead of reacting to every situation emotionally, we learn to pause, breathe, and choose our response wisely. That small pause can be the space where peace lives. A major part of inner peace comes from letting go of grudges, expectations, and the need to control outcomes. So much of our mental unrest stems from wanting life to unfold according to our plans. But peace arises when we accept that we can't control everything, only our attitude toward it. The moment we stop trying to force things and start trusting that what's meant for us will find us, the anxiety begins to fade. Acceptance is not weakness, it's wisdom. It means we understand that not every fight is worth fighting, not every situation needs our reaction, and not every opinion deserves our energy. Silence and solitude also play a profound role in nurturing peace. In the stillness of our own company, we begin to understand ourselves. We learn to listen to the quiet voice within, the one that often gets drowned out by the noise of daily life. When we take moments to disconnect from distractions, we reconnect with our true essence. Meditation, prayer, reflection, or even a few minutes of deep breathing can bring incredible calm. These practices help us return to the present moment, where peace always resides. In the present is the only place where we are free from the weight of the past and the worries of the future. Inner peace also grows when we live in alignment with our values. Many people lose their calm because they live lives that contradict their inner truth. Saying yes when they mean no, pretending to be happy when they're not, or chasing goals that don't truly fulfill them. Peace is found when our actions, words, and thoughts move in the same direction. It's the harmony that comes when we live honestly, love deeply, and act kindly. The more authentic we become, the more serene we feel. Finally, inner peace expands when we cultivate gratitude and compassion. When we focus on what we have rather than what we lack, the heart naturally settles into contentment. And when we look at others with empathy, rather than judgment, our spirit softens. The energy we give is the energy we live in. A peaceful person doesn't need to prove anything. They simply radiate calm, kindness, and confidence. Inner peace is not a destination, but a practice, a daily commitment to choosing calm over chaos, acceptance over resistance, and love over fear. It begins the moment we decide to befriend ourselves and trust the rhythm of life. Life space is divine. Everything happens in its own perfect timing, even when we can't see the reason behind it. In our modern world, we've grown so used to rushing to achieve goals, to prove our worth, to reach the next milestone. We often measure success by speed, believing that faster means better. But life doesn't work that way. Every flower blooms in its own season. Every sunrise happens at its appointed hour. When we learn to trust the timing of our lives, we discover a peace that no amount of control can give us. The truth is, divine timing is not delayed. It's deliberate. It unfolds exactly when we are ready, not when we are impatient. Many times, we think we are waiting for life, but in reality, life is waiting for us to grow, to mature, to become the kind of person who can handle the blessings we desire. The dream we long for might not have arrived yet, not because it's denied to us, but because it's still being prepared. Or perhaps we are still being prepared for it. Just as a seed cannot sprout before it's ready, our goals and relationships also need the right environment, the right maturity, and the right season. When we force things before their time, they often crumble. But when we wait with faith, things align effortlessly. Divine timing is not about delay, it's about preparation meeting purpose. Patience with timing is also a reflection of trust. Trust that there is a bigger plan, one that sees further than our limited view. We may not understand why a door closed or why a delay occurred, but one day, we often look back and realize that it was for our protection or redirection. Sometimes, what we thought was rejection was actually divine redirection, a missed opportunity, a broken relationship, or an unexpected pause may feel painful in the moment. But those experiences often create space for something more aligned with our soul's purpose. When we rush ahead of time, we risk missing the wisdom hidden in the waiting. Learning to flow with divine timing teaches us humility. It reminds us that we are not the ultimate planners of our fate. No matter how much we plan, life always has its rhythm, a balance of effort and surrender. There's a sacred partnership between what we can control and what we must release. We are called to act, but also to trust. We are asked to sow, but also to wait for the rain. This balance between doing and allowing is what keeps us centered and peaceful. The moment we stop fighting the clock and start trusting the process, we begin to experience harmony within. There's beauty in the waiting if we choose to see it. Waiting seasons are not empty, they're full of invisible work. Healing, learning, refining, and strengthening, like a caterpillar in its cocoon. Transformation is taking place quietly beneath the surface. The delay we dread is often the divine preparing us for something greater. When the time is right, everything will align. Doors will open effortlessly, people will show up unexpectedly, and paths will clear naturally. That's the magic of divine timing. It never arrives early or late, it arrives right on time. The universe does not rush, yet everything gets done. When we live with that understanding, stress loses its grip on us. We stop comparing our timeline to others and start trusting our own journey. Every moment becomes sacred, every phase purposeful. What's meant for us will never miss us if we keep moving with faith. Life's timing is divine because it teaches us surrender, patience, and grace. And when we learn to honor the pace of life, we realize that the journey itself is just as beautiful as the destination we've been waiting for.